Browns 0-8 at home. Just sad.
I haven't heard you this down since Dr. Brown got fired. It's a game that we were in, and it's a game that we just don't finish.
I don't want to watch anymore.
Why? Why does that happen? I'm so sick of watching those plays.
0-16.
I definitely do not want to watch this all 22.
That's up and down to me. That looks like dysfunction. Welcome back, Survivors, episode 52, season 3. This is Surviving the Season, live from the Baywater Studios in Tampa, Florida. I am Adam. Greg is here.
Freddie motherfucking Kitchens, everyone. Yes.
FMFK.
We got him.
Hashtag.
So yeah, we talked about it. Like, I know we were thinking, that would be in play. Maybe, not the number one choice by either one of us. I think I would have liked to have a guy that was maybe a little bit more experienced or whatnot, but, because there's risk involved, but by no means am I upset that Freddie's the coach. Like, I absolutely love what Freddie's done. He turned this offense into what was a shit show to something that is absolutely watchable and really good, like one of the top offenses in the league in just a short period of time. But this comes with some risk. Like, there is some risk to this Freddie Kitchens things. They're just unknown, right? It's not that we don't think Freddie Kitchens can be a good leader, because we've seen him do that with Baker. It's not that we don't think that Freddie Kitchens can take on more of a workload, because he seems to be somebody that puts in the time. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to scheme up offense the way he does. I mean, it takes time to go through and say, okay, the defense does this, therefore we're going to counter with this. That takes a lot of time. Freddie does that. He's putting in the time. But what I'm worried about just is when he's taking on these other responsibilities of the day in, day out things like, when's meeting time? What are we doing for practice today? Are we pads on, pads off? Are we, we have this guy showed up late for a meeting. What's happening to him? How are we going to discipline guys with penalties? This is just everything that he's never really had to think of. Never been a coach on any single level before, or head coach, I'm sorry. And now he's taking on that, and it's just unknown. Can he do it? I think absolutely he can do it. But we don't know for sure until we actually see it.
I think this is in line with a ballsy move like taking Mayfield, where it's not like that consensus football guy pick. With Mayfield, let's not do the analytics versus, old guy football stuff, but Mayfield was a pick that to us made sense because of where we're at with the process of picking players, but to these old guys where you could pick a kid like Darnold, 21, or even Allen. Like Josh Allen is the number one overall pick 15 years ago. Big, tall, got a strong arm, and then they would fashion the process around him. Freddie Kitchens is not a cocoon guy, to say the least.
Yeah, Evan Silva term there.
Yeah.
He is not a cocoon guy. But I don't think that I thought Mayfield was safe in my opinion. Like, even though it wasn't a consensus one, we talked about it. Like, this guy is the most NFL ready now. Does he have ultimately the highest upside? Maybe not. Like, if Josh Allen somehow miraculously learns to control that howitzer that he has on his arm, and he controls it with like a 75% completion percentage, and he runs the way that he can run, like, that's as high of an upside as you can possibly get. Is it likely? No. Like, Baker Mayfield to me was safe. Freddie Kitchens is not safe, except for the fact that they had him in the building for the whole year and they know what to really expect. Like, from the outside looking in, safe would have been Bruce Arians with Freddie Kitchens as your OC, brings in a defensive coordinator. Like, that's safe. You bring in a guy that's done it before. And then even if Freddie, the thing everybody's worried about, well, what if you lose Freddie? Okay, well, worst case scenario, you have Bruce Arians calling your plays. Like, that's still a good thing, right? Like, the guy's a proven good offensive coordinator. So that would have been safe. This is the risky. I think this is saying, hey, not only do we like this guy as a offensive coordinator, but we see the leadership skills that he possesses. Today on 92.3, The Fan, I'm not sure. I think it might have been Bull and Fox. They had Gene Stallings on, the head coach for Freddie Kitchens at Alabama, and he talked about that. He said Freddie got by as a quarterback on his leadership, not on his ability. It wasn't like he was overwhelming. He had this overwhelming ability, but from a leadership aspect, he was A+ all the way. So things like that makes me feel a little bit better about it. I mean, I'm super stoked. I don't want this to be taken off, like people to think that I'm not happy with it. I'm completely happy with this. I'm just saying, let's not act like there's not any risk involved. There is an unknown aspect to this.
Oh, there's definitely pros and cons. I mean, we can probably work through them. I think we're hitting some of the cons. Some of the pros is you turn this around with 8 or 9 games calling plays. So we don't want to lose you with what you've done with Mayfield so far. We don't want to lose you to another team. So if we have to hire you as head coach, Mayfield's going to be fine. There's no problem with with Mayfield. Anyone can come in and call plays. Mayfield's going to be fine. Anyone can come in and design an offense. Mayfield's going to be fine. But if you want to keep Freddie Kitchens, you're going to have to give him the responsibility and the money and say, it's your show. And then I'm going to stand back here and let this kid go. It's going to come down a lot to the staff that he can surround himself with. That is another risk. Arians can go to his league sources, his league connections, and say, hey, come coach with me. Kitchens doesn't have that clout, or you know what I mean, that tenure that you can just grab dudes and say, hey, you're coming here now. Yeah.
Well, again, that would be another thing to say for Aaron. That's why it's safe. You know, he's got a stable of coaches that's worked with him before that have proven, you know, so that in that aspect, that's what I'm talking about, it being safe.
Right. But safe also isn't what we're looking for here either. We're not looking at a 9-7 ball club. We want to win 12 games. We want to win 13 games. We want a home field advantage. We want Cleveland to have a home playoff game. Let's get there. But Freddie also now is, after what's happened this season, Freddie has to win games. And if he doesn't win games, the state media is going to be jumping all over him. Then what happens? That's where the risk comes in. How does this dude deal with any kind of adversity outside of the building?
Well, I think that's where it starts. We won't know what Freddie Kitchens is as a leader, as a head coach, until he faces some kind of adversity and he has to go out there. Because when you just look at Hugh early on, and it's like, okay, Hugh's, you know, whatever. It took a year before we go, okay, this guy just does not have the leadership qualities. I just don't see that. And all the interviews, it's not like you can't watch this guy do interviews throughout when he took over as OC and go, okay, this guy's got something. Like, there's definitely something there that would draw the players to him, that make him make him very likable to the players, make people want to play for him. But that's not what it's all about. It's not just about being likable. You also have to be able to put your foot down and say, all right, not like Hugh Jackson, I am the leader of this club. People just need to know it. You know, you need to lead like that all the time, where you don't have to go out and say, hey, I'm the leader, I'm the coach, it's my decision. It just needs to be respected. And we'll find out. Like, again, I'm not trying to be negative about this. What I'm trying to do is just say, hey, there's just things that we won't know until this thing plays out a little bit. I mean, we were going to do this right after they announced it as Freddie Kitchens. We were sort of hoping that they were going to announce who his defensive coordinator is, if they go with the offensive coordinator, what they're going to do with the rest of the staff, because that really is going to determine to me, you know, how great of a hire this is going to be. Because some of the names for defensive coordinators thrown out there, Chuck Pagano, Vance Joseph, Steve Wilkes, they bring in a guy like Chuck Pagano, who has head coaching experience, who is a known name as a defensive coordinator, has done a really good job in this league. like then you feel a lot better about those, these things that we're worried about, because he's going to have somebody there next to him that can help him in a pinch. Like, I've never dealt with this sort of thing. What can you advise me? Like, what do you think? And that's also the nice thing about having John Dorsey, who has a lot of years in this league, who Freddie is now going to be reporting to, by the way, which has come out, that,
that's probably
you got another guy that you
this,
can rely on.
Right?
What's that?
The restructuring of the organization is some of the best part of this, where we don't have two dudes that report to Haslam. We're now set up like an actual organization with the owner at the top, the GM, then the head coach, and let's move on from there without this back channel playing that was going on between Sashi and Hugh, and then even with Haley and Hugh. Like it was so childish. That was embarrassing. Now that we're past it and we can look back and we sort of see what has happened, just a joke.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. So if you have a Bill Belichick type guy, you don't set up your organization like that. Part of the reason why it probably didn't work out in Kansas City is that Andy Reid goes, look, I don't need to be treated as an equal. Like, this is my team. And when you have a proven guy, you go, this is my team. Does John Dorsey not bring in Arians because of that? Well,
that's one thing to be afraid of. I mean, this is this is power consolidation, for Dorsey right now.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
So absolutely, if there's any kind of side motive, dude, that could be dangerous. I mean,
but that's what Freddie Kitchens need. Now, Freddie Kitchen can't. He doesn't have the experience to take on what a Bill Belichick does or Andy Reid. And I'm not saying, like, I don't think there was a lot of those choices out there, to be honest. Like, I think Bruce Arians would be the only guy that you could go actually take that role, and he's never done that. So he didn't do that in Arizona or anything. But who has the clout to actually be able to do such a thing? And let's just say Bruce Arians puts together he comes to be a Cleveland Browns head coach, puts together a couple of really good seasons, and then he goes to Jimmy Haslam and goes, okay, I've had enough of John Dorsey. That puts John Dorsey in sort of risks away. So I'm not saying that had anything to do with it, but there could be that sort of thing that John Dorsey was thinking. But it wasn't just John Dorsey that chose this head coach either. They said that Haslam, his son-in-law, was there. Dee Podesta was there. Not Sashi Brown, but who's our other
Wolf and Highsmith?
Yep, Wolf and High. Yep, thank you. Everybody was giving their input. So I feel good about it for the fact that he was there. We know what Freddie's made of as a man. We've seen him. We've seen him fight for this team. We've seen him stick up for his team. Talking about Baker, whatever Baker says, I'm there. Like, that's my guy. I'm sticking up for him. Love that kind of stuff. He's going to bat for his players. And it just, in that aspect of it, it's a fantastic hire. Like, I love it all around. Is the team's going to be super exciting. They even talked about bringing in Todd Monken, who was in Tampa Bay and had that offense going this year, to add another offensive voice. I guess that'll be an interesting thing, Adam. What are they going to do? OC that actually calls plays, or is Freddie going to keep those? I would imagine that would be, but you're not going to bring in a guy like Todd Monken and then not, and he's probably going to want to call plays, I would think.
Yeah, I think that's a tough lateral hire if you're going to try to bring someone that was calling plays at another organization and then have them come to Cleveland and just go, well, you can't call plays, but we want your input on the offense. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that might be tough for someone to give up that responsibility. Maybe you can do it, but I almost have a feeling that we're going to have to hire either from the team already or go out and grab some of these assistant coaches and position coaches to come in here and OC so Freddie can call plays.
Yeah. So who have we kept from this? They kept the wide receivers coach.
Yeah, Adam Henry.
They got rid of.
I think is the only one left.
They got rid of Bob Wiley.
Ryan Lindley, the running back coach last year, is going to become the quarterback's coach this year.
Yeah, so they keep saying, like, okay, that's for sure he's going to be the quarterback's coach. That would make sense. That would make sense. See, I was even thinking maybe for a second he might move into that like offensive coordinator role where Freddie's calling the plays. But now I see there's a lot of that going out there that, hey, they talked to Jim Bob Cooter. There was somebody else I think I'm forgetting also. But there seemed to be definitely bringing somebody on board for that. I like that. I think you definitely – I don't mind him calling the plays, obviously, but I want him to have a good – somebody that comes in that has a good idea to be able to take over the offense if need be, and really be able to put in a lot of work on it. So he's not doing it all himself because he's going to have the extra pressure added to him of being the head coach and in and outs of that.
Right, especially as your first time. I mean, dudes that can have done them both for a while, it's probably not a big deal, but all of a sudden you're tasked with being a first-time head coach and calling plays and dealing with all the extra scrutiny that comes with that. And it's not a rebuild. This isn't a team that you can go, we're expected to lose and we're just trying to, get it back on the right foot. This team needs to win, and it needs to win next year.
Oh, I mean, this is you're going playoffs or bust here.
8-8 next year is not good. Like, that's not going to be good enough.
No, it's unacceptable unless Mayfield goes down or something like that. I mean, there's nothing you can do. When injury strikes, shit's going to happen. I mean, even the Patriots, when Tom Brady goes out, the 1 year they made the playoffs, the 1 year they didn't. So,
but it's a toss year. Like, everyone's got an excuse. But, barring any major injury, this team needs to win games.
Oh, absolutely.
It's probably set up to win games. And, we still have free agency and a draft, but we're not going to lose anybody. You know what I mean? This is the junior year. Nobody's graduated.
Yeah, this is the junior year that we've talked about so many times. No, we're going to go into the senior year here. This is year 4 of the rebuild. We're in year 3 right now. So that will be year 4. This will be, the senior year. We're expecting a national championship / Super Bowl this year. How
right? But you got a sophomore quarterback, so
I'm sorry.
You got a sophomore quarterback. Most of your
freshman quarterback won the Natty this year, buddy.
Yeah. And most of your defense is sophomores and juniors. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll get into free agency too, because I've been digging into that. It looks like there could be some pretty good names. I think this is going to be a better free agency class than it was last year for sure. But what do you think of this? Now, Zach Taylor, the quarterback's coach for the Rams, gets hired by the Bengals. So it looks like Hugh. It's unfortunate for us as Browns fans that Hugh Jackson won't be the coach of the Bengals.
I'm just sort of hoping that Hugh goes to someone that we play next year. Because some of the rumors and stuff are lining up for some fun games next year. I think with Kingsbury in Arizona and his past with Mayfield, that's going to be a fun game. Some people were talking about Williams, Williams going to the Jets as a DC. If we play the Jets next year, that could be a fun game. Like, all we need is for Hugh to step in somewhere and coach for someone that we play next year. So we can Baker can throw a ball at his face or something like.
Oh yeah. I just think it's the league it's so weird. I just don't understand sometimes the way that they go about thinking. Like, here's what we're doing. We're going to go Cliff Kingsbury. We're going to go Zach Taylor. We're just adding guys. And I get it. They're matching them up with quarterbacks. So this is what we're doing. Freddie Kitchens. There's no real experience there. We're going scheme over like leadership qualities. And I think Freddie obviously has shown that he can be a really good leadership or really good leader. But what do we know about Zach Taylor? What does the Bengals know? Maybe he had a really good interview.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go from quarterback's coach here, never called plays. Now you're head coach. I think he's a really young guy. And everybody's trying to find that Sean McVay. The NFL just does this, man. It's like, it's such a copycat league. It's like, Wildcat works? Okay, well, we need to put in a Wildcat package, even though it might not fit anything. We're going to run the Wildcat with, Peyton Manning or something. It's just, why? Why do you have to do what everybody else is doing all the time? Why can't you just do whatever's best for your team? And I just feel like the teams that are going to be doing, trying to be the first at something instead of just following everybody are the ones that are going to be ahead of the league in all these trends. I don't know. I don't know where the league's going with this whole thing.
Well, I mean, most of the you see most of the coach hirings and firings. I mean, they're basically recycling the same dudes.
Yeah, for the most part, right?
Yeah, they're just sort of nabbing dudes. Well, he didn't work out there. What amazes me is the AFC East. With Bowles, the Tannenbaum goes down from GM of the Jets. He goes down to Miami. Gase is head coach down in Miami. Now he goes to the Jets. All the shuffling that goes on in the AFC East, and the Patriots are just stone rock solid.
Because they whoop everybody's ass all the time, so everybody keeps changing over rosters, and they're like, if we can't beat the Patriots, there's no point. But my thing is, like, you're telling me you can't find, instead of recycling all these coaches, you can't go to the college ranks and find the best leaders. I mean, maybe the problem is you just can't get them because the college coaches are making as much as the pro coaches at this point. What's the point of them leaving?
And they have like locked in contracts, and they're basically like hometown heroes there, you know?
Yeah, and you can literally stay there for life, where if you get, if you're Bill Belichick, you could stay there for life. Or if you're like a Pittsburgh Steelers coach, like has your only choice, your only chances of being somewhere for a long time, because they don't switch, they don't switch anything.
Right. Everybody else has like 3-13 season, and they want to fire everybody. What's hilarious, really, in like Arizona is a prime example. The front office never takes any blame about this shit. They just fire the coach. They're like, "Nah, we didn't do nothing. We're good." I don't get the fucking premise of the whole thing. You guys are terrible. The front office is terrible.
Terrible. So yeah, so they went all in. They get Arians. They go all in, and they add all these old players in Arizona, and they spend a ton of money. They have cap issues. They can't re-sign guys like Calais Campbell or the safety that went to the Ravens, like young guys like that. Or Calais Campbell is near 30 years old, but still able to play at a high level. They can't afford it because they went and spent all this money on guys that are all washed up to try to make a big Super Bowl run. Exactly what you don't want from John Dorsey to do. You want him to make moves, and we have plenty of money to actually go and make these moves. But you don't want to fill your roster with guys that are 30 years or older. Like, you just can't do that. That's the difference between where the Cardinals roster is and then where we are. Like, our roster is so young, it can actually use. We could use a guy that, even Sue this year, who's going to be a free agent from the Rams. Like, he's 32 years old. You bring him in for a couple of years like, you're going to get good use out of this guy. You can afford to do that this year, especially with the amount of money we have. So we're just in such a different position. I don't know, man. But the whole thing with Freddie is like, I'm just hoping, like, I have a lot of faith in him. I have a lot of faith in John Dorsey that he did the right thing, but I just want Freddie to have ample opportunity here to see this thing through. Like, I don't want another 3-year cycle. Okay, this isn't working. Like, just be the right guy. Dear God, be the right guy for all the sake of all us Browns fans who suffered through this goddamn thing. Be the right guy. Be here for the next 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And with Baker.
Awesome.
19 titles. I'll give them 1 year where they slipped up. 19 Super Bowl championships. This is what I'm expecting. If we, this is what I want. Yeah. Is that too much to ask for?
No, I don't think so. It's just, you can do it if you keep the core together, and then you have to hit on the draft. You have to make the right free agent moves. But if your quarterback's good, your head coach is good, and the organization has, like the right attitude about the whole thing, dude, you can win games. I mean, we have to be playoff contenders now.
Yeah,
with this quarterback. And if we're not going to be playoff contenders, you got to get a different quarterback.
I mean, the big thing is I'm just not worried about the offense, with this move. Like, we should be good. I think offensively, I would still like to add a tackle and another playmaker. If just you're fine tuning the offense. It just comes down to this: who's this defensive coordinator going to be? But I really feel like no matter who they add, they can't really be much worse than what Greg Williams was. I'm not, and I think Greg Williams. Okay, Greg Williams did a nice job as head coach. I mean, he changed up his man. Like the way he acted to the team. Like he was like a completely different guy from the no nonsense demeanor that he had to the defense, where he was just all about discipline, and he really softened to be the head coach. I thought he did a really good job at that. But just from a week-to-week basis, seeing the over-aggressiveness that we ran as a defense, like, I just want him to come back to earth and, like, all right, let's get a couple more playmakers here. And then instead of dialing up blitz after blitz and being so over aggressive, let's let our players actually earn their money. And then, Myles Garrett we don't need to rush 7 guys to help Myles Garrett out. Let's rush 4 guys, put 7 in coverage, and let Myles earn his paycheck. Go after him. I think we still need to add another pass rusher, obviously, to that mix, whether it be from an interior guy, McCoy from Tampa, or another edge guy. There's some edge guys out there. Frank Clark. There's somebody else on the list. The one kid from Baltimore, Zadarius Smith, he was on the list as a free agent this year. So there's options out there where they can get a lot better and quickly. And I just feel like, Pagano, you had like Steve Wilkes, you had Vance Joseph is another name. I don't know how good of a coordinator he is necessarily, but these are names. Can you be worse than Greg Williams? I expect improvement no matter what, to be honest. Yeah.
Why not? I mean, we got to remember, like, when Hugh came in and when Williams came in, it seemed like, okay, maybe we're turning the corner. So sometimes the grass is greener, but I think the defense can be good. We have talent. Just put together the right system, understand the NFL today, work with Kitchens as the head coach, and keep the communication going. What do I need? What kind of players do you need? What are you looking for your style of defense? Without the stupid power struggles and all the fucking Cleveland-y bullshit that we have to go through with these teams year after year of the head coach doesn't get along with this guy, or the offensive coordinator's quitting and all this stupid Brownsy shit. We got the organization in place. Let's just flow forward now so we can get to the playoffs. Everybody work together. Everyone tuck their egos, into their pillowcase, and throw it out the window, and let's go. We can do this shit. Like, the talent is there. The defensive leaders are there. The offensive leaders are there. Everyone just get in the sleeping bag with Kitchens and hey, we're going now. This is what we're doing. Is that even I don't even know if that's some kind of saying, but I just made it up.
Get in the sleeping bag. That's just getting weird now. Oh man. Dude, I was listening to that 92.3 fan earlier on my way to pick up the kid from school, and the guy called in and said, I don't know about Freddie Kitchens. I mean, this is 100 guy. He's 100 pounds overweight. I mean, can we allow this?
Jesus.
Some people. It's unreal.
Good radio.
Good stuff. This is why we're so lucky not to have to take callers. Oh shit. But I mean, I'm still like, before we can really truly assess this whole thing, we need to see what this staff is going to look like.
Yeah, true.
I want to see who all are they hiring.
Yeah. We need coordinators. We need to see who's taking the positional coaches. We need to see who all those are. Hopefully that's going to come out in the next week or two. I don't know if the Browns want to talk to anybody that are in the playoffs now.
Should be today for the most part. I mean, not today, but tomorrow. Like, I would think the fact that we haven't had like a press conference with Freddie, so like already is I'm kind of like shocked by that. I figured they would have it, but they must be in the process of hiring all the coaches. Yeah, maybe they won't fill out the whole thing because they're waiting on a few coaches, but we should have a good idea of a lot of the names that are being added.
Well, for sure, when Freddie interviews for the position, he's bringing a list forward of these are the guys that I want to look at. This is the kind of guys that I want to bring in. So, I mean,
sure.
He has to have a plan. We'll never know what that list says, but hopefully he gets some of his guys.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It said John Dorsey is having a big say in who he hires. That was another thing that I read today.
That's his
which
boss now.
Maybe he's giving him a hand in it. I mean, I doubt John Dorsey's going, you have to take this guy on.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably going, well, who do you think? Like, what do you give me some suggestions.
If everyone can tuck away their ego, we can make this work. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, tuck it away, lock it up, and let's all work together. It doesn't matter if it's Dorsey's guy, Kitchens' guy. You bring in a DC, let him pick his own positional coaches. Like,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone can work together to get it right.
Yep. Go camping, one sleeping bag. That's
Freddie motherfucking Kitchens.
Freddie motherfucking Kitchens, baby.
You have any final thoughts before we bounce out? It's hard to talk coaching without talking to these guys ourselves. We know none of them personally. We're not in the room.
Yeah, I like Freddie, though.
Yeah.
I like his attitude. I think he's going to be good. I really do.
You did hear the reports Baker Mayfield was FaceTimed into the interviews.
I don't even know what to think about that. Like,
giving the QB some say, son.
I don't know about that. If that's true,
I don't know. I don't know if they're giving him say, but at least Baker can maybe ask a question or two, or nod his head during the whole thing. But dude, it's important.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they asking Joe Schobert to come in also?
Fuck no. Joe Schobert's replaceable as fuck, dude.
Miles? Where's Miles at? Come on. He's just as important.
Miles is almost not as replaceable, but almost. But your franchise quarterback is not as replaceable.
Oh, man. Greg Joseph? Come on. Who's going to be a special team? Amos is gone. We can rejoice, Browns fans.
Yeah.
Rejoice.
Yeah, tip one for Amos, boys.
Yeah, I got nothing else. Once we see this, once they fill out the whole coaching staff, then we'll have a better idea and we'll come back. So that's why we waited a day, and unfortunately, it didn't get to work out in our favor. And we said, well, we better put something down.
Yeah, nothing happened in the one day since of us waiting, but Freddie motherfucking Kitchens is our head coach, bitches. So that's cool. Yep. FMFK. That's our new hashtag. What else do we got? Pete Smith next week, I believe. We got him coming in for a draft show. I know everyone's going to be super stoked about that.
Too early draft show. And I've been doing work. I've been putting the work in, Adam. Looking up the draft guys.
Working. We're working.
Working extra hard.
Putting in the work. What else do we got? I don't think we have anything else scheduled. So as soon as something happens with the coaches, we'll be back, or look forward to Pete Smith next week. And other than that, Greg, what is our Twitter?
Twitter at STS Podcast. And our email is
survivingtheseason@gmail.com. Twitch.tv/STS Podcast. You can watch this podcast filmed live. We're doing it right now. We got people in the chat room.
Subscribe as well.
Oh, yeah. We are now affiliated on Twitch. You can hook your Amazon Prime to Twitch Prime and throw us a sub. We make a little loot off of that, or you can just throw in a sub on Twitch. So it's pretty cool. It's an opportunity for us to kind of reach out and do some live shit. So it's kind of fun. And maybe make a little bit of bucks for it. Get that fat STS money.
Boom.
Patreon.com. Speaking of fat STS money, thank you for all the... I'm laughing. Nobody can see it. Yeah, Greg's...
making it rain.
Yeah, making it rain. Thank you. I was looking for the proper meme for that, or whatever the fuck.
Nickels and dimes, though, so I'm making it hail.
Patreon.com/STS Podcast. Thank you for all our executive producers. Thanks, guys, so much. #Road to Redemption. Freddie motherfucking Kitchens. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.